All right, y'all, getting caught up here, so let's get into it. The Missouri Days of History, and I need to get caught up here. So here we go. So the 30th, 30, or no, we already did those. The first, second, and third. So we got the 1st of February for Missouri Day of History. We're going back to 2004. Nelly performs at the Super Bowl 38 halftime show. Cornell Haynes Jr., aka Nelly, has been on top of the record charts since early 2000s. Of course, as you all may or may not know, he's born and raised in St. Louis. Of course, he had the album that came. His album Country Grammar came out in 2000, and his other album Nellyville came out in 2002. I own both of them. I was a big Nelly fan. It says University City native, but I think he was kind of right around. I didn't know he was a University City native, but University City town. But I know he grew up right around St. Louis. Anyway, if he wasn't in St. Louis, he's definitely right around St. Louis. He represented his hometown teams. Yes, he represented the. I would see him a lot of time. He'd be wearing Rams or Cardinals a lot. So, of course, one of his hit songs, "Hot in Here," "Hot in Her." Oh, that was one of the songs he performed at the halftime show. But of course, his halftime show performance would kind of be forgotten when the final act showcased Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson with the infamous wardrobe malfunction, which is why MTV is no longer in charge of the halftime show at the Super Bowls anymore. They took that away from them, and then they started playing showcasing old bands for a while until Pepsi took it over. So I think it's Pepsi now. So there you go. That's cool to know about Nelly, though. He performed. I do remember that now. Now that they mentioned that, I do remember that halftime show. I actually, I was about to watch that halftime show, and I had to go to the bathroom. I was like, well, it's halftime, so I got plenty of time. So I went to the restroom. I came back out and already missed it. I was like, what the hell just happened? Because now everybody's talking about the halftime show. I was like, well, we're recording it. So then I went back and watched it the next day, and I'm like, oh, that's what happened. For the record, though, you really couldn't see much of anything. At least I couldn't, but I don't know. It is what it is. Then for the second, February 2nd, 2020, the Chiefs win Super Bowl. This is where I get screwed up. I want to say 54. If that sounds right. I think so. 54. We're going to say that. They won Super Bowl 54 in 2020. I know they won that one anyway. It was 50 years since the Chiefs have been in the Super Bowl, and they are crowned champions. They defeated the San Francisco 49ers 31-20 in Florida. After a furious fourth quarter comeback, at that time, Patrick Mahomes was 24 years old and was named Super Bowl MVP. He had 21 points in that game. Oh, leading the team to 21 points in the final 6 minutes and 13 seconds of the game. Of course, prior to that, the Chiefs won the AFC Championship on January 19th, 2020 against the Tennessee Titans. Clark Hunt, whose family owns the Chiefs, accepted the Lamar Hunt Trophy, which is named in honor of his father, who co-founded the AFL and brought the Chiefs to Kansas City. It was a very cool Super Bowl. I remember watching that one too. Very ecstatic. Loved every minute of it. And yeah. Definitely as a Chief fan. Because we went season after season after season. Seemed like it was failure. You know, and I know a lot of people are saying, well, what do you mean failure? You all got to the playoffs. I'm like, but that's not the point. Your team, you want your team to succeed and go to the Super Bowl. You just don't want to just go to the playoffs and then lose. We did that a lot, you know. We want to get to the big time. We finally did that year and won it, so I was happy. I didn't know at that time we were going to become a dynasty, but it was a lot of fun. And of course, that was just before COVID hit the country and made everything unfun and uncool. But for that moment in time, everything was fun and cool. And yeah. Also, to note, February 2nd, 1931. The Lake of the Ozarks begins to fill after the completion of the Bagnell Dam. That's pretty cool because I know where the Lake of the Ozarks is. That's a fun place to go. I love the Lake of the Ozarks. All right, and then the last thing we gotta say for Monday, February 3rd. We're going back to 2004 again. Voters in Rockaway Beach approved gambling in their city. It says residents of a once thriving resort town of Lake Taneycomo voted to allow a riverboat gambling in hopes of reviving the town's economy, despite local approval of a riverboat casino on the dammed White River. The measure still depended on a statewide vote. The problem was the state constitution only allowed gambling on the Mississippi and Missouri rivers, and the number of casino licenses was capped to 13. Introducing gambling to Rockaway Beach would have required a constitutional change, which Missouri voters rejected with 55.9% of the vote in August 2004. I think that's ridiculous for our state personally. When those votes do happen, I don't understand how Missouri is so against certain types of gambling. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a gambler myself. I'll do it from time. I'll gamble from time to time, I guess. Just for the fun of it. I'm not doing it to try to actually make money. I know it's the worst thing to try to do to try to make money. But like I said, I'll do it from time to time just for the fun of it. I don't understand why our state is just so far behind on other states when it comes to gambling. Like, what are you afraid of? Are you suddenly afraid that other things are going to come into the state because you allow gambling, or what? Because at the end of the day, it's just gambling. I don't know. I never understood that about Missouri. It just doesn't make any sense. And yes, it would actually help your economy grow because a lot of these casinos, when they do pop up, they're not just influencing gambling. They're also, which I know, but I mean, what I'm trying to say is a lot of these casinos actually have concert halls. So a lot of times they're not just influencing gambling, they're also bringing in concerts from time to time. Usually it's retired artists, but nevertheless, or, artists that you don't hear very often of, that they were once really big. I mean, they were big hits way back when. Still kind of are. I mean, if you hear their names, you're like, oh, okay, they're going to be in town. Cool. I might go and see them. Of course, I get it. Casinos are hoping that by bringing those names in, you're going to gamble while you're there. You don't necessarily have to. Just buy a ticket for that show. But as you do, of course, you're going in to see that concert. You may also spend money around the town. You'll probably stop at some of the restaurants, maybe stay in some of the hotels that night for that concert, because you may not want to drive all the way back home. You might check out the town and see what else is there. So, I mean, there's all those things. I don't know. I see all that possible. But anyway, that's all I got for y'all for the Missouri Day of History. We're all caught. Sorry. We're all caught up now. And on that note, I will see you all later. So peace out, and I'll see you all later. Bye for now.